The 2023 IGL is a league for goalball clubs in the Western Cape, South Africa. It might change in the future so that clubs from other provinces can also participate. The IGL for 2023 will consist out of 7 clubs and 7 tournaments. After the last tournament, the 4 clubs on top of the log will qualify for the playoff games on 14 October. There will be no playoff games at the end of every single tournament, only at the end of the season. The first tournament takes place on 22 April in Worcester, hosted by Innovation for the Blind, IFB. Eerste River Goalball Club, Gugulethu United Goalball Club and Worcester Goalball Club have a bye for this first tournament. The first game of the day was a game between the Hein Wagner Academy and Innovation for the Blind. It is the first time since 2018 that IFB enter for this competition. Stefan Engelbrecht of IFB scored the first goal of the season. Many goals were scored, but the Hein Wagner Academy, HWA, managed to win their first game of the season, 2010. It is their second season in this competition. Last year they ended up in the 4th place after a 10-8 loss against Worcester in the 4th place playoff game. The second game was a battle between the University of Stellenbosch and Athlone School for the Blind. Athlone School for the Blind, the only junior team in this league. Martie's regular centre player Willem Venter wasn't available for this tournament and therefore Marius Kutsie, the right wing, moved to the centre position with Gerard Trollop the right wing. It was the first time that these 3 players of Martie's played together. Martie struggled to find the gaps in the Athlone defence and after a 6-0 score to Athlone, it looked like Athlone will win the game with the mercy rule. But Martie's managed to score a few goals before half-time and the half-time score was 10-4 to Athlone. Although Martie scored more goals than Athlone in the second half, it wasn't enough, and Athlone won the game 14-10. Due to load shedding, we don't have any video footage of this game. After a 15-minute break, the University of Stellenbosch, also called Martie's, played their second game against HWA. HWA take the early lead, but after a 4-2 score in HWA favour, Martie scored 4 times to make it 6-4. With less than a minute to go in the first half, Gerard Trollop scored goal number 7 for Martie's. The half-time score was 7-6 to Martie's. The game stayed close till the end. The second half score was also 7-6 to Martie's. Thus, the final score, Martie's 14, HWA 12. In the 4th game, we see 32 goals between Athlone and IFB. In the first half, it was a bit of a close game, but after a half-time score of 11-8 to Athlone, they managed to win the game easy with the mercy rule, 21-11. The second last game was between Athlone and HWA. The defence from both sides were very good. The half-time score was 5-4 to Athlone. In the second half, Athlone scored many goals and there was a moment where they lead 15-6. But HWA found a few gaps and the final score was 16-12 to Athlone. The last game was between the host IFB and Martie's. Martie's won the coin toss and chose to start with the ball. From the very first shot of the game, Martie scored and take control of the game. Martie's won the game already in the first half, 11-1. The log standings after the first tournament are as follows. In the 4th place, IFB with 2 log points. Teams receive bonus points if they brought officials to the tournament. A team can receive a maximum of 3 bonus points for officials. The 3rd place go to HWA with 3 points on the log. Martie's in the 2nd place. They won 2 of their 3 games and they give 2 officials, therefore 8 log points. And on top of the log, Athlone with 10 log points. The top 3 goal scorers at the first tournament are as follows. Marius Kutsie from Martie's with 19 goals in the 1st place. In the 2nd place, Uya Mawiza from Athlone School with 17 goals. And in the 3rd place, Tabang Parkis, also from Athlone School, with 13 goals.
I feel there was a very positive start to the league. What was refreshing was that most of the clubs involved brought at least one person to help with the officiating, which was nice. We also had some of the new officials make their refereeing debut, which was really fantastic. And the hope is that we can get more and more people involved on the refereeing side of things. One of the officials who was brought through, I think, by Hein Wagner Academy, is also very keen to get involved in refereeing. And that is truly special. If we can get people where from early on already they have this active interest and we can nurture that, that's how the sport will grow. We want to make sure that at any fixture we never battle in terms of having officials. So this was a very, very positive start.
Goalball referee and chairperson of the Western Cape Goalball Subcommittee, Moya Koloko. But how does Rebecca Cullum and Dana de Waal experience their first tournament as goalball referee? First, Rebecca Cullum.
So what I found from this year that I noticed a difference to last year, especially with the Athlone team, and I think it's got to do with the fact that the majority of the Western Cape junior team came from Athlone, is they were a lot more cohesive. They were in tune with each other, they communicated, their throws were a lot more accurate, so that was really cool to see. The other thing that was interesting with Innovation of the Blind, even when there was one goal against them that would be scored for a mercy game, they would still fight until the bitter end. They didn't give up, and I always appreciate seeing that in teams. In terms of reffing, well, it was really cool to finally have the opportunity to do that. And I really felt, I think the word would be comfortable in terms of having Moya teaching me the ropes in terms of the different whistle techniques, the different whistle blows, how you switch courts depending on when coaching and substitution time was called. And I found it interesting from the reffing perspective. It was a bit more calm than I'm used to in terms of the tech table, but I really enjoyed it, and I'm hoping that I can get an official qualification, whether that is on my own cost or not. But that is a goal for me, and I just wanted to thank thank everyone for giving me the opportunity for all the stuff that I've done for goalball over the last year. It's been really cool to see how the sport has grown, even in such a short time.
On the 22nd of April, I attended the Goalball League in Worcester. I had volunteered as a goal judge before and was given the opportunity to officiate as a referee for the first time. Initially, I was nervous and blew the whistle with very little confidence, but as the game went on, I was able to gain confidence through the passion from the teams projecting onto the passion of myself for the sport. It was an eye-opening and enriching experience. I was exposed to the difficulty of serving the ball in such a precise manner that players had to be cautious of serving high or long balls. The sport also stood out to me as an achievingly inclusive platform for players in teams ranging between the ages of 14 as old as 60. The agility of the teams was phenomenal. Players would dive to the ground to protect their goals with so much determination and speed, and then got up just as quick to reset themselves for the next incoming ball. At moments, I couldn't help but bask in the extraordinary athleticism of these players.
In terms of quality of play, I think teams did very well. Looking, for instance, at Innovation, they have had a period of absence in the league. So having them back in the league is quite good. They really played quite well. They dipped a bit in form in the final game, but other than that, I think they played very well. Marties were forced to adapt because they were missing a player, and so they recruited a substitute player to play with them for the tournament. So when you can put a team together on the day and that team performs as well as they did, that is also quite special. Athlone School did remarkably well, I think. They'll be pushing to work on their closing here and there, but I think definitely good both defensively and in terms of attack. And Hein Wagner as well played very well. What I liked there as well was that they really rotated their squad, and that's a good thing to do early on, so that you're sure, as you get closer to the playoffs, You're prepared for any eventualities. If there's any injuries, you know who to rely on for which position, and also that you're sure that everyone has sufficient game time by the time you get to the business end of the season. So really, very, very positive day out.
The next tournament will be on 6 May, hosted by University of Cape Town, also known as UCT. The 4 teams who will play are the defending champions Eerste River Goalball Club, Gugulethu United Goalball Club, Maties and Worcester Goalball Club.